5 seconds to start, and what's about to happen in this race will shock me completely. The plan is simple: go out hard and finally break 34:30 for 10 kilometers. My old personal best is 35:33. I ran that 3 years ago when I honestly wasn't in my best shape. But training has gone better than it has in many years these last few months leading up to the Valencia marathon that I'm currently training for. So today I wanted a clear black and white answer of what my shape is really like. And honestly, I didn't even think about my placing going into this race. But being a competitive person, I quickly set my mind on finishing top 3 or even winning this race would be really fun. So I start off following these 2 fast runners, settling in 3rd position at a pace that's way too fast for me, but it often calms down after the start, so I'm hoping for that. This course is a pretty fast 10k course. It's a relatively flat loop with just a few sharp turns and some short, not that steep hills. You almost run 2 laps to make up the 10 kilometers. And today it's perfect conditions. Cool weather, no wind, here in Lier, Norway, where the race takes place. Right there we passed the start of the half marathon race that started at the same time as us, so soon we will begin to overtake some of those runners. And I'm thinking that the pace we run in right now is probably too fast for my goal pace, but I feel surprisingly good. So I decided to stick with these guys at least for the first kilometer, just to see what we clock that one in. There we passed the first kilometer in 3:23, way faster than planned. So if I keep this up, that's a 33:50 10k, which would mean almost a 2-minute personal best. That sounds great in theory, and honestly at this point I'm sort of glad that we opened fast and that I'm feeling good. But the problem is that I don't think that I'm in shape to hold this pace for the full 10 kilometers. So right here I start bargaining with myself. Do I back off now and play it safe, or take the risk and maybe have the chance to surprise myself and outperform my own expectations? Part of me says, let them go, you're being stupid, this will only end in pain and a slower finish time. But by now every other 10k runner has dropped, so it's just the 3 of us left in the front group. And running alone into the wind always costs more energy, so I decided to hang on at least 1 more kilometer just to see how the pace develops and how my body feels as the race starts to settle a bit. The second kilometer goes even faster, 3:19. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this is too fast for me, but somehow I still feel surprisingly good. When I glance at my watch, I can see that my heart rate is 162, and even though I have a low max heart rate of 175, 162 is still within what's sustainable for me in a 10k, so right here I make a decision to stick with these guys at least until 4 kilometers, and just try to run as relaxed as possible, although we currently run at a pace I almost have no training in. As mentioned, I'm currently training for the Valencia marathon, and for the first time in 4 years I've had 3 full months of consistent quality training. And training works, you get better from putting in the work, so maybe, just maybe, I'm actually in better shape than I thought. At least that's what I'm starting to hope right now, but we're still super early in the race. Third kilometer, 3:21, still on pace for a time well under 34 minutes. I tell myself just 1 more kilometer behind these guys. In races like this I always try to think 1 kilometer at a time and set short goals to get small wins and avoid thinking about the full distance ahead. Because right now the idea of 7 more kilometers at this pace feels pretty daunting. So just 1 more and then we'll see. 4th kilometer, 3:25. A little bit slower, but I'm honestly surprised at how good I still feel. Up to this point I was just trying to survive behind these guys and save some energy from drafting of them, and my thinking was that okay, from 4 or 5 kilometers I would do the rest of the job myself and let these guys go. But for the first time I start thinking maybe I can actually stay with them all the way to the finish, and if I can do that, maybe I can even fight for the win in this race. Closing in on the halfway mark, we hit a slight uphill and the pace drops a little. I start thinking that it wouldn't feel right to just sit behind these guys and then try to outkick them at the end. And my mindset now has completely shifted. I have now decided to listen to my body that still feels surprisingly good and push for a sub 34 minute time, which would give me a huge new PB, and I also want to fight for the win in the race. So I take the lead up this small hill so I can contribute a bit to the pacing and give something back to the 2 other runners who have pulled me along for the first half of the race. There we passed the 5 kilometer mark, 3:26 for that kilometer, a bit slower again, but it included some uphill. This gives me a halfway split just under 17 minutes, so to run a sub 34 10k is still within reach, but I will need to pick it up a little in the next few kilometers. I'm kind of hoping that one of the 2 guys right behind me will come through and take the lead a bit. But at the same time, I'm ready to keep the pace myself if no one else does. Because now my mind is fully set on that sub 34, a time I would be extremely happy with. Still, we're only halfway through the race and I can't help but wonder if I'll be able to keep this pace, especially if I have to do it all from the front. 6 kilometer, 3:20. I'm really happy with that split, but now I'm starting to feel it. The other 2 guys are still right behind me, and this is where the race starts turning into a real mental battle. I focus on just getting to the next kilometer, trying to hold the pace 1 split at a time. And in my head I'm almost trying to trick myself, pretending that the finish line is at 9 kilometers, because I know that if I can just get there, I can always push through the pain for the final kilometer. 7th kilometer, 3:24. We're finally into the last 3 kilometers of this race. The other 2 guys are still right behind me, but it seems like I'm the one who will have to do the job up front to keep up the pace. And honestly, after all the help I got from them in the first half, I'm happy to contribute now so we all can run a good time. But at the same time, I'm starting to really want to win this race. So my plan now is simple. Keep it steady around this pace until the 9 kilometer mark. And if they're still right behind me then, and I'm not completely done, then I'll start to gradually increase the pace, hoping to finally break them. 8 kilometer, 3:23, and surprisingly I still feel okay. Of course I'm tired at this point, but I still feel that I got a final kick in me. But I decided to hold this pace for another kilometer and hopefully outkick the 2 other guys that are still right behind me in the final kilometer. At this point I'm starting to feel confident that I will run a time well under 34 minutes and set a huge new PB. And while I'm running here trying to hold this pace, I want to quickly share something I've been working on that can help you if you want to run a fast 10k yourself. I've just launched my new 8-week 10km training programs that uses the exact same structure and sessions I've used to improve my shape a lot over the last 2 months, and it builds off of the training philosophy I've developed over the last decade working as a coach for all different levels of runners. The plans come in 4 different levels, so no matter how much you train or what level you're at, you'll still have a plan that fits your schedule and goals. And what's different with my plans compared to most others is that it's not just a static PDF. It's a living document that you can make changes to and adjust it and adapt it because things happen in life. And as a coach, I strongly believe that a plan should be able to evolve as you go. You also get video explanations, step-by-step guidance, and follow-along strength workouts you can do at home included in these programs. You can get these plans by becoming a Patreon Silver member, which also gives you access to all my other tools like the fueling calculator I just released, behind-the-scenes videos, podcasts, and more. Or if you just want the 10k plan on its own, you can buy that separately. And as a thank you for joining me in this race, you can use the code 10kpb for $10 off. A big thanks to everybody already supporting me on Patreon and using my tools there. You're the reason I can keep creating these videos. Okay, so let's see how much I can crush my old PB with and whether I can actually win this race. There, one of the guys behind me finally makes a move and passes me, and now it's a full-on race all the way to the finish line. Even though I'm tired for sure at this point, my mind is set. I'll do everything I can to finish first today. I tuck in right behind him, happy to finally have a back to run off again, and the third guy is still right behind me. So it's still the three of us fighting for the win. I think about staying behind him for a while, but I'm too eager to run as fast as possible to the finish line, so I decide to take the lead again, and the plan now is to start dialing it up little by little all the way to the finish. And maybe, just maybe, if everything clicks and I can have a really good last kilometer, I have the chance to not only win the race but also break 33:30. Something far beyond what I ever expected coming into this race. It's one of those days where everything feels so much better than expected, and it's really nice to see that the training job I put in over the last couple of months are really paying off today. 9th kilometer, 3:23, we're finally at the last kilometer. And if I can finish this last one in around 3 minutes flat, that will put me under 33:30. Both of the other runners are still right behind me. Now it's just about running faster and faster, emptying the tanks, squeezing out every bit left in my legs and holding on until the very end. I pushed the pace all the way down to under 3 minutes per kilometer. My legs are screaming at this point, and honestly I'm worried I started sprinting too early. But the guys behind are still right there, so I just have to dig deep and fight all the way to the finish if I want a chance of winning this thing. Finally, in the last stretch, I can hear the gap opening up behind me, and it's such a relief seeing the finish line, knowing I performed way better than I ever expected. I crossed the finish line with a final kilometer of 3:04 in first place and a new personal best of 33:29. This race really did shock me completely, but I guess training works. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out all of my training plans and other training assets on Patreon, you can click here. Train smart, have fun, and I will see you in the next video.